What started as a group of girls stuck sitting in the front row together in PT school became a friendship full of laughs, cries, and of course, endless studying. We wanted to start this podcast to talk about all things PT and share our passion for the profession as well as the trials and tribulations that come with it. We're happy you're here and happy to share.
We have the rest of our front row friends here, Baylee and a little guy, as well as Grace. So why don't we have Baylee start and introduce herself? What are you up to? What are your PT goals?
Well, my name is Baylee Clayton. I am currently I live in Fromberg, Montana. Out of PT school, I sorry, I need to start over.
No, you're fine.
Well, so out of PT school, I was working for a company doing admin work and some restorative care while I was in PT school. And it was in North Dakota, and I knew that I wanted to come back to Montana. And so I approached her and asked if I could take the company to Montana, and she said, write up a business plan and we'll do it. So it started up in September, pretty much all summer of 23. We just worked on the business side of it and how to set up and get referrals and that kind of thing. And I worked for a home health company as well while it was getting a bit busy. But then it got busier than expected, and I had to quit that home health job because I was working 7 days a week. And I work in a very unique setting, but I think that it's very beneficial for people. So I do outpatient in the home. So it's not home health. We bill differently. We bill just like it's an outpatient clinic. It's just easier for me to go to them than them come to me. So, and I think it's very beneficial for rural communities, and that's some of my passion because I grew up in a very rural community, and it's hard to get to the bigger town that's 45 minutes away 3 times a week. So that's my real passion, is bringing good care to the rural community. My goals would be, I want to start a more holistic approach where there's dietitians and PAs and NPs, OTs, SLPs all involved, and do this outpatient in the home setting with me. So these people in these communities, and we've been talking about branching off onto the reservations and that kind of thing, where they can get good care without leaving their home.
That's awesome. Yeah. You also have to tell us a little bit about your ranch.
Oh,
Yes.
Well, let me tell you the excitement this morning.
We're ready for it.
Well, Boyd had to leave early this morning because he went to help brand at the neighbors. And so I've just been hanging out with Kai, and I've been walking around trying to get him to sleep before this. Didn't work, obviously. And I look out of the window, and the cows are just scattered. And they're like in the hay field and all this stuff. I'm like, I don't think Boyd opened the gate, but I'll call him. Of course, he doesn't answer. So, yeah, they broke the fence down. And then as I was out there, I noticed there was a lamb stuck in the creep feeder. So I had to go run and get him out of there. But
I like how Brooke is just like, yeah.
For those who don't ranch or farm, Google it.
But it's just been very crazy because we moved to Fromberg in May, and we moved on to an 800-acre place, and we started farming and ranching, and then we started Innovative in Montana in September. Then I had a baby in July of 24. So it's just been crazy. And we just keep increasing our numbers of livestock. We have 60 cows now, 50 sheep. Well, a ton of pigs. I don't even know how many pigs we have.
What a life.
We love it.
No
What a
chickens. I
life.
hate birds.
So good.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing, Baylee. That's such a beautiful passion and goal.
Thank you.
Yeah, so now we'll pass it on to Grace.
I'm Grace. I am also PT and I'm working in southeastern Idaho at a private outpatient orthopedic clinic with a little emphasis in sports medicine just because of the population we have. So very similar to what Bree does, but slightly different. Yeah. But it's been a lot of fun here. I've been not having quite as crazy of a life as everyone else, but it's just been really consistent. I've been at this clinic for the 2 years since we've been out of school, and it's been a lot of fun. We see lots of variety of patients, which I really enjoy, and we have lots of recreational athletes, which I really love because it makes our part of PT easier where they're already motivated to do stuff. So that's been really good.
Amen.
My goals for yeah, exactly. My goals for PT, I think they changed a bit. Like when we were in school and we had to write our 5-year plan, I was like, oh, I'm going to be OCS certified in 5 years. But now that we're 2 years out of school, I'm like, I'm not sure if that's going to happen within the next 3 years. So we'll see. But I would love to get more education that way and have a little bit more specialty in orthopedics, and then maybe eventually open my own clinic. So
Yes, girl.
That I'll help her out with.
Yes.
we'll see though. We'll see.
Travel
We'll see how
PT for
everyone
all my
else
friends.
is. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I actually have a couple follow-up questions for Grace. Just because, Grace, I know your clinic has a lot of cool equipment that people don't really know or see. So tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, we have a Biodex machine. Is that what you're talking about?
Don't you have a vibration?
Oh, like the React machine that we have?
Yeah.
That's the first time I'm
Yeah.
hearing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have I'm not going to do the best job explaining it, but we have a machine. It's called the React machine. You can look it up, but basically it's kind of like on the basic scale, it's like a really big Easton machine almost, but it has a large MRI magnet in it that it sends the magnetic forces into the muscle, which causes the muscle cells to depolarize, which causes an involuntary muscle contraction. And so there are different settings you can do on it, but it's a big table that you can put the patient on. And you can do it with different settings, either to help contract the muscle and activate it. So we use it a lot after surgery. It goes about 4 inches deep. So it can get more than surface area. And it's really comfortable, more comfortable than Russian.
That's wild.
That's really cool.
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to Google that.
Yeah, so we use it for that, and then we also use it after stroke or spinal cord injuries, where you have that activation for the muscle, but you don't have the connection to it. And so that's a little bit of a different setting that we do, but we've had really good success with it. There aren't a lot of clinics that have it, mostly because it's more out of the East Coast, they have it there. And so that's where the maker creator is located. And my boss got the last one that you can actually buy. Now they just do a lease program. So you pay monthly fee. Yeah. But
Wow,
that's
that's
kind of
really
the
cool.
coolest equipment I think we have.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Did not know that was a thing.
No.
That's super sweet. I would love to look into that more.
Yeah.
Do you have any other follow-up questions for Grace Bree?
No.
That's fine. Thanks for sharing, Grace. I think something really important to note too is how you talked about how your goals change. And I think that's just so realistic. There are great people that can like goal plan and stick with it. And sometimes it just doesn't happen. And I mean, even you said that you've been like pretty consistent with what you've been doing. And it's still just changed. And I think that's fine. Like, I feel like we're so rushed sometimes when we make those goals. And it's really stressful to like break it down. If they asked me like a 1-year goal, I would have said like no idea. Continue to practice for a year? I don't even know. Not get burnt out within a year.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for sharing that. I think that's real big. Start it. I'm trying to lower my count.
Bree, do you want to tell the story now?
Oh, okay.
We're gonna share how we all met and how we became the front row friends.
So I feel like most of us were kind of friends already, but if you listen to our first episode, I like to name my group chats because I have so many. So we have us in a group chat and it's called Front Row Friends. And what happened was, in college when you sit your first day of class, it's kind of settled. That is your seat for the whole year. It's an unspoken rule. Well, I sat in the back-ish area, and the next day, someone came early to class, approximately at least 30 minutes to steal our seats in the back, which is doing the most. I need as much sleep as I can before class. I'm not going to wake up early the next day to steal my seat back. We all kind of sat together in the front, and we just decided we're going to be called the Front Row Friends because like I said, I want to name our group chats. And then it's funny because Brooke and I were on a high-low table, and every time in lab, people wanted to steal our table, and Brooke and I were like, no, you made us
Stole our back table. This is ours.
We get the high-low table, and we're short, so
Yeah.
We're like,
And
Yeah,
we
we're all
stand with
pretty
our short friends in the front row.
Yeah, we're extremely short.
Yeah.
So it was pretty funny. Grace and Baylee actually sat behind me and Brooke, and so
Yeah.
Grace would see my face in my laptop.
I would just see Brooke like researching a whole bunch of
Oh
different things. Like it was all like really scholarly stuff that she was looking at. But I'm like, how are you taking notes? How are you multitasking? Like we're like listening to neuro stuff and you're over here like researching orthopedic and
Yeah. And Nikki's not on right now, but so it was, Bree and Brooke, and then directly behind was Grace and Baylee, and then Nikki and I were to the right of them. And Nikki and I would see Bree and Brooke not fully paying attention because we were on the very side of the wall, so we had to like angle. And so we were basically facing you guys.
Yeah.
And I just remember all the time, Nikki and I are just like lost. And I can see that you guys weren't paying attention. And then randomly, Bree would just ask this extremely smart question. And Nikki and I were like, you're not even paying attention.
But the thing was that Brooke would help answer the question too.
And this was after Bree took a little nap.
Yeah. Wow. I remember one specifically, she was like drawing and like half over and like raises her hand and still doesn't even sit up to ask her a question. And we're like, oh yeah, that was a good one, Bree.
We're like, you're not even fully there.
Bree is that smart.
I know.
No!
And then I would just stress Grace out all the time
Yeah.
with my anxiety ring.
She has this little ring that it has, is it like a little medallion or something on it?
Yeah.
And so if you take it off, it's like a little fidget spinner and you can get it to rotate and spin around.
Mm-hmm.
And
then it
Bailey
clicks
would always
too.
so she would always take it off or like put it on the part of her finger that's thinner and just spin it around all the time.
I think
She hated taking tests next to me. Bree did too.
I was just going to say one of the best parts was, if you guys don't know on this podcast, Bailey's also. We're all smart, but like
Bailey is like
Bailey's top of the class.
top class, and she, the little humble Bailey over here, finishes her exam, but doesn't want to. Exposed. This is just going to be an exposed episode, okay? Bailey's just too humble to walk out of class first or second, so she sits there and just shakes the table. And Grace is just like, "Stop it! Just leave. You're done."
I would sit there. She would always know I was done with my test because I would sit there and scroll up and scroll down and scroll up and scroll down.
Yeah.
But I couldn't be the first one to leave.
That's okay. I couldn't
It would hurt feeling.
Nah. People would just be like, Ange didn't know anything. If I walked out first, they'd be like, "Oof, rough test for her." Yeah. And that's how we became friends in the front row. Mm-hmm. Good times. I think Nikki's able to join us now. Hello? Question mark?
Hi, friends.
Hey.
Nikki.
I didn't turn my video on because he got hungry again, so we're just chilling together.
You're good. Congratulations.
Yay! Baby Joshua's joining us.
He is. He slept a lot longer last night than I thought. I definitely thought that we were going to have our typical 7 a.m. routine, but nope. He was a good 8:30 a.m. today.
Kind of nice.
That's the mama life.
Yep.
Yes, Bailey and Nikki are our mamas in the group. 2 boys.
Then I'm going to just track their milestones every time.
Ange is our peds enthusiast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Kai. You can't see on the podcast, but if you watch our video, you can see the cutest little boy.
Maybe I'll just add a little tab. This is "Hi Kai," and you can just jump straight to it if you don't want to watch the whole video.
Yeah.
And then you can leave after that.
But Nikki, we were just talking, about how chaotic the front row was.
Yeah, exposing ourselves basically.
Quite chaotic.
All
And how everybody could see if we're not paying attention in class because our group chat was up.
Patricia too is always like, "Are you guys as class president? I feel like I should tell you to get it together." But
You just
I
always
feel like we had it together, or we seemed like we had it together.
you seemed like it. As long as you seem like you had it together, it's all that really matters, right?
You're fine. Yeah.
Grace is going to tell us about her Guatemala experience now and what she's looking forward to in helping Ange and I lead this upcoming Guatemala mission trip.
Yeah. So,
We'll work on transitions.
Ange, Nikki, and I, we went to Guatemala with our PT class that opted to go to Guatemala our last year of school. And it was a lot of fun. And I feel like we learned a lot about how to apply our PT skills and really felt, at least I felt, that it was one of the times where I actually was more confident in using my skills, especially going into the last full year of school. You're supposed to know everything. Well, you're not going to know everything, but you feel like you're supposed to know everything, and you have to figure out how to apply it to people. And I felt like the Guatemala trip was a really good way to do that. And it made me feel more confident with being able to treat patients. And if I can do this in a place where I don't speak the language with people, I can do this even better where I can actually communicate properly. So that was really big. And I think that was a big time too, where we all got closer and our passions were more aligned, and we could see that. And that's also one of the reasons why I think we're so close too, is us friends were not really super loud for the most part, but I feel like what we want for our patients and how we want to be better therapists really line up really well. So I had a really good experience there. And then we always talked about possibly going back to Guatemala. And when we got the opportunity to do that, I couldn't say no. So
Yes,
Okay.
I'm super excited. Like you said, if we can treat well over there, it really does give students a big confidence boost, Something that our leader said when she joined us was, if we're feeling lost treating them, just remembering that like the care that we're trying to give them at that time may be the best care that they receive in a year. And I feel like that really spoke a lot of volumes, that it was really a safe space to learn where you can't really do anything wrong. You know, it's not like we were doing any big techniques either that was detrimental in any way. And so I feel like that gives students a really big confidence to really practice their skills.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And have fun too. It was a fun trip.
Yeah, I agree.
Update from the first podcast, I was accepted into the musculoskeletal ultrasound residency through my clinic. It's a year-long residency. I don't have to move or anything. I have weekend courses in Salt Lake City where my clinic is kind of based, once a month. And then I have a couple of virtual online classes twice a month. And then I have basically my quote unquote clinical, where I essentially do musculoskeletal ultrasound and write a bunch of write-ups, and they say we should be taking our lab and written practical in the summertime of 2026. So I'm excited. I'm a little nervous because a lot of people who are accepted are older practicing clinicians who are just so smart. I feel a little intimidated, but I know it's a really good opportunity for me to grow and to learn from them and further my skill set. But yeah, I'm freaking out a little bit, but we're gonna make it through. So anything else?
I don't know if there's any more updates.
I don't know. Well, Grace is dry needle certified as of a few months ago.
March?
Yeah.
March.
Almost 2 months now.
Almost 2 months.
Ooh. Woohoo.
Yeah. So I think a fun one too would be in the future. I guess we're just brainstorming with you guys now, everyone listening.
Yeah.
And we'll put on a poll. You can say what you want to hear next.
Yeah, but we can talk shop about like the different organizations, kind of maybe comparing them in terms of like a course standpoint. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Grace did evidence in motion.
Mm-hmm.
Brooke, you did too, right?
Yep.
And then
You and Bree, you're going to structure and function, right?
Yes.
We could have Mariah talk about masters.
yeah, and then was it Jalen or Ashley that did another one?
Yeah, I think we got a couple other ones.
Constellation Institute.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah. So if you're being name dropped,
Be ready.
Expect us to contact you in the future. Well, it looks like we're running out of time on our free Zoom call. Thanks for coming on today, guys. I feel like it's really hard to get all of us together, so that's super fun. And excited to have you guys on for more topics in the future, next time.
Stay tuned. Might be a week, might be a month. Hopefully soon.